It's funnier watching a band trek about in a van, innit, when they've had no sleep and, you know, you're in and out of, like, travel lodges and it's all, like, you're loading in and someone's been sick and all that, whereas now it's like, you turn up, it's all done for you. Do you know what I mean? It's kind of like...
See, it's literally us steaming clothes in a dressing room, do you know what I mean? It's like, we're on soon, yeah, boss, yeah.
Hi there, you're watching Enemy and we're joined by Blossoms. We've got Tom and Joe to talk about Foolish Loving Spaces. How's it going, guys?
Great, mate, yeah, very
This
well.
is album 3. So you have the first, the debut album, which you have your whole lifetime to make. Difficult second album, as they say. What one's the third album for you guys? The experimental one?
I wouldn't say, experimental's not really the right word, is it? No. You always imagine experimental to be like, 10-minute long songs with just like mad stuff going on where it's still not that, but...
Sounds like my album, though.
Your album?
Sounds like I want to do it, but God, my album.
Right, I thought you'd like written an album. I was like, what's going on?
News.
Yeah, breaking news.
Terrible album.
No, do you know what? It was the most enjoyable to make and I'd say the most easy in a way because, like you said about, not difficult second, because I won't call it difficult, but...
I think in a weird way the third one's harder because the second one you're in like that eye of the storm sort of thing, do you know what I mean? And you want to get it out and you're like...
And I suppose you can sound more like your first record still, because people are just still getting used to you, aren't they?
Yeah.
Whereas, in that way, I suppose if you didn't find something new to inspire you on the third, then I suppose you'd be like a bit like, what do I do?
I guess because you guys are getting used to being in the studio and making albums, you can have a bit more expertise and have a bit more fun at the same time. It's kind of the
definitely, mix. You've learnt loads of stuff doing the first 2 records, and watching what someone does there, and like James Kelly and Rich Turvey, who's done all the records, picking things up. When it came to this album, said then we had more time, so we're still touring, but like bigger shows and less of them. So I'd write, and then we could actually go and demo it. Whereas on the second record, we didn't really demo anything. We just kind of I'd write the songs, and we'd just make it in the studio, and that became the song.
Right. So like sometimes it would be like. The first time I heard the tunes was in the studio with the second, and I'd sort of sit there with like a drum machine, a Linn drum from like the 80s, and sort of build a drum beat there, and then do you know what I mean, like what were this? Like, oh no, I don't like that, and just like, whereas this time...
that was only because we were on, so it was all we could do, and we had the songs, so we still wanted, we wanted to get the album out. But this time we could, sit around more and like, get the slide guitar out and just try stuff you wouldn't normally try, I suppose, and it was kind of like going back to the first record, like early days, and where we'd sit in a room and kind of jam it. Not jam it as we used to do, because we've got more keyboards and stuff now, so it's not as easy as just saying. You spend more time finding a sound and all that kind of boring stuff.
I think we all know, don't we? We'd sort of like jam it, but then we'd be like, this synth will be mint here. Yeah. And you do that later. Do you know what I mean? Come back to
you jam like the bass drums and me,
and
Josh sort of thing, and then we'll add the synths on after usually. But so I think having more time benefited the record.
Sure.
And I started writing the album before the second album came out. So
okay, so you've been sitting on these for a little while.
Not all the songs, but like My Swimming Brain, that was the first one, and that was written like the January, and obviously of 2018, so that was like 2 months before Cool Like You came out. So it's like, always staying on the front foot and being inspired, I suppose. You can't really. I think that helped not be like, oh God, I've got to write a third album, because I just kind of stayed focused on doing it. So, touch wood, the tunes kept coming.
It's quite an interesting album in the sense that you've really gone out there and really pushed yourself. You've got like gospel choirs on there. These really cool sort of 80s inspired sort of sounds and tracks. Like, did you expect to get to third album and think, we're going to have some gospel singers here?
No, never. And the thing is with the gospel singing on it, that came from The Keeper, which was the last track I wrote for the album.
Okay.
So, that was like an afterthought in a way, because we ended up applying that vibe to some of the other tunes. Not as heavily as it is on The Keeper, but, the girls are still singing on it and, adding that kind of element, which definitely adds something different to it. But it wasn't conscious. It was kind of just, you start writing a song and sometimes it'll remind you of something. And when I started writing The Keeper on the piano, it just reminded me of Primal Scream.
That was one of the songs, when we went to demo. You were really like, do you know what I mean? A lot of time, I don't really know what to do with drums, or just do this sort of vague thing. But you were like, no, I want this.
Yeah, kind of
you knew exactly.
In my head, it was there. What it sounds like now, pretty much. So.
Yeah, you really had like.
We got them to sing on the demo as well.
Yeah.
Which is, you wouldn't normally do that. You'd be like, oh, we'll put gospel singing on the thing. But I kind of was like, sometimes you might say to James and Rich, you have an idea, and they, until you actually show it to them, they might think it's too far. You know, so
I think even for ourselves and yourself, like, because like you said, do you know what I mean? It is a
we've
bit
never
like,
done it.
You are pushing it out a little bit. I think we were like, before we sort of go in the studio and waste everyone's time, it's like, well, we've got a demo, and like we can demo in the room and do all that. It was like, yeah, let's try it out, and it was.
And it worked. We got the demo of it, and we're like, oh, you know, we love this. This is a great vibe, and yeah, so that's kind of where that came from.
Do you kind of have more confidence in the songs that you're writing as you're you know, releasing albums, you tour, and you're seeing the response from fans and from gigs? Do you feel more confident in like pushing it a little bit further and really, like you're saying, going sitting behind the piano and trying something different, writing like Primal Scream, that kind of stuff?
Yeah. I mean, the thing is, I've always written on the keyboard. You know, I wrote Charlemagne on the keyboard, so it's like it does help, being on different things. And like I'd moved out of my mum and dad's house, and I had my own place with my girlfriend, and was kind of like, I was adamant I needed a room, you know, to like writing, because I always had the back room at home. So I was kind of like, you know, and we were having some work done on the house, so it was like, you know, get this room done and like get some stuff in there. So I got like, you know, the Roland Juno synth, obviously my guitar. And then we bought a piano and put it in there, you know, just because I knew it's always good to have different things. And then, you know, you sit at it and then you end up getting somewhere you wouldn't normally get to, I think.
Yeah, and I guess with the live show, you've kind of moved away from being just behind a guitar or behind kind of more roving kind of personality. Is that did that help unlock some of the potential in the sort of songwriting? Or
maybe, I think probably more subconsciously, I'd say. It's not like, I'm not sitting there going, see how I'll swing the mic on this one. Do you know what I mean? It's kind of like the songwriting approach has always been the same, really.
That's why I'm not a songwriter, because I would be thinking, I could swing the mic this, but
you do kind of, like the gospel singing, for example, is like, you can immediately imagine it live and think that'll look great, you know, it's like, and we're playing a lot bigger venues as well, like the arena and stuff, so it's like, you know, you do have to be a bit more ambitious with it. I just think it comes with time. So I think, you just get more confident over time, don't you, I suppose, like, the bigger our shows got, I felt I wanted to be, like you said, roaming more and just be a bit more of a front man. Because, you know,
we've put a lot into live shows this year, like.
Yeah, I think it's important.
And you're doing covers and stuff. I know you do like Blue Monday sometimes. I guess that kind of, again, that unlocks some, like, what would New Order do here? Like, you kind of think, like, how did they do that?
Yeah, totally. And it's great learning, you know, when you learn the covers, you know, you pick things up off it and think, oh, we enjoyed playing that, let's have a tune like that, or whatever it was. So, and, you know, for fans coming, you give them, you know, you know, when you play a show, not everyone's a die-hard fan. You got to know that, you know. So, if people come in and they know a few tunes, and you throw in something that's like universal, you know. I remember when I've been to watch bands and they do something like that, you come away from it like, oh, that was great when they did that. So, you kind of, when you're doing stuff like that, you're kind of half a fan. You know, you're imagining what would a fan want, sort of thing.
I guess, like, here there's a real, not like a new direction, but really refined what you guys are all about. Really powerful kind of synths and piano and guitars. Do you think there's kind of a misconception that you guys are just lads with guitars playing up on stage, and there's actually a lot more to it than that?
I think so,
Yeah, I reckon so. I mean, it's one of them, I tend not to, read too much and become, obsessed. And people always want to, I'm not annoyed why people do want to put something on it, especially in the early days, because, you want something familiar, don't they?
Yeah.
You don't want to say, here's this band who write on piano, keyboard, and synths, and and the guitars as well. But it's mainly the guitar. But then, you know what I mean? It's too much in it, so you just pick the two big ones: guitar, synth. It's like, right, that's what it is, So, I think there is more to us than that, definitely. But it doesn't I'm not like roaming around thinking, why do people call it that? Because I get why.
I think we hit like a weird crossover between that sort of that band and then other bands. You know what I mean? Unite, not necessarily linked with that. I think we're quite a good in between. Do you know what I mean? Like you said, that sort of that band that is just guitars, the crowd goes mad and the sort of thing. And then the other bands where it's more like about the music and you listen to it. I think we sort of hint on both of them things. You know what I mean? We've got our own thing in the middle.
Well, I think you guys are like a pop band. You're a pop band that just happens to sometimes write with guitar, sometimes it's synth. It's just like, they're pop songs.
Yeah,
that just comes from the songwriting, really. It's always been the same. Like I said, then the same approach.
Yeah.
I've always loved the big chorus, loved classic pop songwriting, really. So you can never get away from that. It's just being influenced by something else, like, for example, Talking Heads. Finding a newfound love for them kind of unlocks, my version of that kind of pop songwriting.
So is it kind of a recent thing that you kind of came around to their music?
Yeah, because I always knew Once in a Lifetime, Psycho Killer, but I hadn't really heard the rest. And it might have been an interview with Noel Gallagher, and he picked like a Spotify playlist, and he picked Burning Down the House. So then naturally you go, what's it like? And then checked it out, I was like, fucking hell, love it.
Here we go.
Yeah, and then, you know, it's like finding a new band. But
yeah.
They've been around for like 35 years. It was like, I love it when that happens. So it was, then I went backwards and, you know, Naive Melody, like all of them. And then just was constantly listening to it. And then naturally it just bleeds into the songwriting, I think.
There's kind of a big kind of 80s-ish kind of aspect to this album. It feels like it's really fun and punchy and kind of songwriting you'd see from Talking Heads and, you know, even like The Cars and Wings and that kind of stuff. Like, is that something you kind of do on purpose? You listen to a lot of stuff from that like from certain areas and think, I'd like to recreate that, or is it all just, again, just bleed into what you guys?
You do take a bit of influence from songs that you listen to.
Yeah, definitely songs I listen to, but it's more so like one-off songs, if you know what I mean. And then you end up making a playlist of songs you like, and you know, it'll be like, you know, January 2018. That'll be a playlist for me, and then it'll be songs that I got into then. And like James Skelly is a big help because he'll send me stuff that I've never heard. You know what I mean, like new songs. And
it's mad as well when Jay sends you stuff because like one song one day and them two songs will be completely different.
Yeah, he'll send me like Frank Sinatra one day and then send me like Baxter Jury, Miami. You know what I mean? And that's like so far away from each other, but it's, you know, you're gonna get something from it. So yeah, it's definitely listening to stuff, but it's not. I wouldn't say it's like, you know, a certain era, so to speak. It's more the tune. If I'm into the tune and the melody, then I'll listen to it and try and, you know, be inspired.
And I saw on Twitter you did a post about 7 years since you guys were
started,
first.
Yeah.
Like, what were your expectations there? Like, did you think
you didn't want to do it?
You didn't want to do it?
Not at first.
I was just pecking his head every day, ringing him.
Well, I was in another band, like, you know, with a friend from school. You know, we're still close now, but at the time it was kind of like, it felt a bit bad, if you know what I mean. But it wasn't
right, like a break, like a
breakup in a way. And it was kind of like, you know, I knew it was coming to an end and it wasn't really going anywhere. And
uni and stuff.
And it wasn't like I never was like I want to be dead successful in a band. I just liked writing songs, but the passion had gone from even just playing pubs, you know, at that level. So it was kind of like I'm a bit done here, and then we kind of started. And not alongside it, like Blossom, so it was a bit like, oh, you know, the crossover period's a bit, you know, you don't want to be too like, yeah, we're in a new band. So we left it for like 6 months, and then
I remember with the after
he made the Facebook page. I was like, what the fuck have you made that for?
Fume and the Twitter, Facebook and the Twitter, and
still like through your email, isn't it? And all that. Yeah, but then obviously, you know, time passes and. Immediately as we knew from the first jam, like that photo that I bought was, we were like, this is different. It just felt different.
It's weird, like, 'cause I've heard bands say that before, like, oh, and we knew straight away, do you know what I mean, from the first rehearsal. And I used to think, like, when Oasis used to say it, or people like that, I used to think, God, imagine that confidence, do you know what I mean, is saying that, like. But then when we did it, we all believed it, do you know what I mean? We're all like, oh God, this does feel like.
Yeah, it's hard to explain. It wasn't like, we're going to be, you know, we're going to be massive and we're going to have a number one album, we're going to play the arena and all that stuff.
Our feet up.
It's kind of just like, it feels kind of serious in a way. Like you're taking it more seriously than you ever have done. If you know what I mean? So you sit, I can't explain it, it's weird.
Yeah, it feels like you know you've got something, but you can't just sit on it and go. It's not like we were there like, right, this is it now, we're going to be playing the arena soon, just sit back. We knew, I think because we...
Well, it took 7 years to get there, I suppose. You know, it's a while. It's still quite a while.
I think because we felt like we were good enough that we really pushed for it. Do you know what I mean? Like we put more into it. Like we would be like, oh yeah, let's rehearse like 5 times a week. Do you know what I mean? Let's like get in there. It didn't feel like a chore.
No, we loved it. Like it was like just, you know, it was like getting in a relationship and just being like, wow, that's what it was like, and it was just, you know, great.
I think like 7 years as well. It proves a bit of longevity as well. You know, bands like yourself and. Like even Cortinas and now headlining festivals, like it's a real long slog to get to that point.
Yeah.
Especially for bands.
Yeah, but I think that's changing because you guys are high up on the festival lineups.
I was saying that today, wasn't I?
Maybe it's here, maybe it's back again.
Yeah, I was saying that today. I was like, it seems like there's a bit of a turn. It's like Declan McKenna, Inhaler, Sam Fender. Do you know what I mean? There's like a few people.
Inhaler and stuff like that.
That's what I mean. They're all mint, and it does feel like there's something like even they're coming out with laughings. Whatever.
I feel like when you're in it, like. You're always like, oh, it's not been one for a while, but then when you're in hindsight, you can always probably go back a few years and there's always been a band. You know, like before us, Catfish kind of broke out. Yeah. Then it was like us, you know, now you got Sam Fender. It's like, in years to come, people will be like, it never went away. Do you know what I mean?
I know, but in the moment it's sort of like, oh, what's next,
when you're in it
next?
and it's not smashed on the radio all the time, you kind of think, Well, it's not. It's not the hippest thing anymore.
Yeah. There was them days of like where it was like Radio 1 was filled with bands, wasn't it? Like Kooks era. Do you know what I mean? When it was just like there was loads of bands. Like,
yeah, it just goes in waves, doesn't it? It's like anything.
Yeah, but I think it's kind of given you guys a real authentic fan base who
100%.
have stuck with you the entire time, and now they're really seeing you guys play in arenas, and it's even more rewarding for those people who bought in to, like, say, Charlemagne early on, and now are
definitely.
We're in album 3.
Yeah. It's mad, isn't it? Yeah.
Now they're selling the tickets.
now I preferred when they played small venues.
No, it's great. It's you do get that with a band, I think, maybe more than a different kind of genre of music. Like there's like a die-hard kind of, you love a band like you love a football team. It's kind of like an obsession in it in a way.
Yeah.
But maybe because I'm into bands, I feel like I'm sure someone would say that about a pop star and be like, I fucking love them. So it's probably.
I think you guys sort of right time. It was sort of streaming, but not too much streaming. Like reliant. Still people going to live gigs. Social media wasn't really like the only way to sell music. Do you think you would have had the same kind of success, or like if you started right now? It feels like such a different.
Yeah, it does feel different. I don't know. It's hard to say, isn't it? Would we? I think we're well equipped. Like we would have embraced the even more social media, because we were doing like Facebook Live and stuff like that when that first was a thing. And now there's Instagram Live. So we've always kind of been relevant,
I feel like
up to date with shit like that.
We've got worse with social media and stuff. But I feel like it's more boring now.
Like, it is
back in the days, everyone's like, oh, why don't you do stuff like this? But it's like, well,
it's funnier watching a band trek about in a van in it when they've had no sleep, and you're in and out of like travel lodges, and it's all like you're loading in and someone's being sick and all that. Whereas now it's like you turn up, it's all done for you. Do you know what I mean? It's kind of like
he's literally all steaming clothes in a dressing room. Do you know what I mean? It's like run soon, boss,
I guess you still have that aspect. You got your podcast, which is
well, that's what I mean.
The middle ground.
Yeah, you got to find a way, and I'll always try and film stuff. And when I'm on tour, I filmed when we went to America. That was funny. I filmed that. I've never released a film because I use
too explicit.
No, I use boring. But I use loads of real songs in it, like Lionel Richie's All Night Long. So I'll never get the rights.
And there's loads of random people. Obviously, we didn't
didn't
take
get any
release
permission,
forms or
just
anything
like filmed them. So we showed it in Stockport to like a few people, and that was kind of like the same thing. But obviously we were in America, so we weren't big, and we were like slogging it a bit, and it was a laugh. So.
And so you're about to head out on tour all year long. Yeah. And we were just talking before we came on about David Byrne's playing on Broadway, doing this amazing one-man show. We called it the greatest live show of all time, which
I probably agree.
I agree with you.
It's got Blossom's agreement.
Yeah.
What do you reckon a Blossom's Broadway show would look like?
I reckon we'd be really good at it.
Yeah. Would it be minimal? Would it be huge?
After seeing his, it makes you just want to do what he's done, doesn't it? Make it really minimal.
I feel like he's the master of it, though.
We came away from that show like, can't we get chainmail? Because obviously he's got like the chainmail backdrop, and let's steal that. There's bits from it which I've stolen, the way he does with some of the band. Because obviously we've now got more session musicians and stuff to play all the kind of percussion like he does on his show. So
you're going to start walking around with a drum strap to you.
Not quite, but just little subtle things where you're watching. Oh, that'd be cool if we did that. But I think we'd do a good Broadway.
Yeah, I think because we're playing the bigger gigs, we wanted to.
We played stuff like the Plaza, haven't we?
Yeah, I think this tour, the new stuff, like Tom mentioned, we've got more session. Got loads of percussion players, although I say two. There's 2 percussion players, and there's like an extra guitarist, and got like the choir and stuff. So I think you could easily sort of put that in a bit of a Broadway show, couldn't you, and make it a bit more.
You're up to a serious crew there now. What was that, like 8 or 9?
I think. I think when we were doing like the full the arena, there's like 16 of us on stage. I think.
Fucking hell. It's a big stage, though, isn't it?
It is big. But I think it does. I feel like you've got to do that. You've got to like push it out a bit. You know what I mean? If you do the same live show again and again, like we were saying before about albums, it's like people get bored easy now. I think that's the thing. I think with like social media and everything, you can Google any gig and most of the time someone's filmed it and you can watch it. And so I feel like if you do push it and like really concentrate on your live shows and make it more exciting, then I hope people like it.
Yeah, it'd be great.
So, hope you like it. They're playing live all year. Album's out now, and you can read the full interview on NME.com. Cheers, guys. Thank you very much.
Nice one.